It's Tuesday on Your View. Welcome to the show. I am Morayo. For Labi Burners, always I have the ladies with me. White girl in the building.
Joe, good morning.
Flowery,
Good morning.
those carnations, stuff like that.
My brother's partner bought them for me. So
Partner or wife? Which one again?
partner.
Oh, I thought it was Madi. Oh, your brother's partner. Oh, sorry. I was thinking Madi's wife in my head. And you have baby curls. Why can't you have 63?
I did everything this morning.
I understand.
I'm feeling myself. I'm feeling
You're
myself.
feeling cute. So what are you doing? What are you up to this weekend?
Nothing. This was a very relaxing weekend. I didn't go anywhere. I just stayed home, but I exercised.
Nice.
Because I've decided that I must
What do you do?
exercise. I do walking exercises and dancing,
Okay.
and then I will show you the apps I use. Yeah.
Okay, please.
Okay, cool. How you doing, Elijah, Anima, Akashat? Zibiri, how you doing?
So it's a gratitude day. Let me join BC and be grateful for my consultants. So one of them is Dr. Mercy Irene Aloha, and she was the consultant that saw me through Imran's pregnancy. Wow. She's like a mother to me, and today is her birthday. Happy birthday, doctor. I'm so indebted to you, your mentorship, your guidance. I pray that you live very long, beautiful, happy, prosperous years on earth. She is I think, second in command consultant at the Mother and Child Hospital. She's a gynecologist.
Nice.
And she's very, very well experienced. Because if I followed her rules and it worked, most of the people that have come and are under her care, and she says, just do what I say. And they usually refer to them and say, what that woman on TV? She did what she said, and all of them go home with their babies. God bless you, ma.
Happy birthday.
Happy
Ma.
birthday to her. How you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. So we're still drinking water this month of dry January. Just to encourage
Just water,
everyone.
no food?
No, of course not.
Just checking.
We're just saying don't
Okay,
take
no soft
the
drinks,
alcohol and the soft drinks, but drink water, lots of it. It's a good habit to imbibe for not just January, but throughout your life. So.
Yeah, I really wanted to stick to that.
But I see you with your bottle of water.
Yeah, I'm taking water.
I don't take soft drinks, Shai.
Yeah, me too.
I did at Christmas. I don't know what happened to me. I drank
I haven't had a bottle of soft drink in
3 or 4
years.
bottles, and I was like, Yeah, and you
What?
that you don't drink.
I don't take those things.
Immediately
like
got
that.
off, right?
Quickly.
Yeah.
Before I became addicted.
I've actually stopped
But you
it for
drink
years
alcohol.
now. So.
I know,
Alcohol.
They say it's dry January.
It's dry January.
Water.
Fruit of life.
Like,
Me,
if I love
I
your
was
hair
in water.
today, it's like you're wearing a crown.
Yes, I actually love it
it's
too.
so
Very
Just
beautiful.
get some warmth. My hands are really cold.
you.
So it was Mama that came to give me Baileys. She wanted me to just drink with
Take
her.
a taste.
So I had to that was the only way I broke, but usually I drink all water. And I tried to explain to her, listen, I'm on the mountain. She kept saying that we have to
took
drink it
alcohol
together.
while you're fasting for the
It
Lord.
was just to taste with Momo, just to show
Jesus will not be proud of
solidarity
you.
with Momo.
When the devil met Jesus in the wilderness and tempted him with bread.
It was just a taste.
Yeah.
So you don't turn preacher.
Oh my goodness. All right, so the promo is running for the ladies that want to join the circle of the ladies of Your View. We're expecting ladies to come in. We have the idea for you to do a video, tell us why you want to be one of the ladies of Your View. Post it on your IG page, hashtag hashtag the ladies of Your View, so that we can see the handle and then invite you for an audition. So we're looking for ladies from the north, we're looking for ladies from the east, looking for ladies from the south, across the country, and tag ladies of Your View, hashtag ladies of Your View, hashtag ladies of Your View. You can also tag TVZ Entertainment _. They will definitely send it to us. The idea is for us to see all the ladies who are interested in joining. We need views from across the country. So we have the Southwest well represented. We're looking for Northerners, we're looking for Southeasterners, people who can join the conversation and make it more richer and robust. So please let us know.
North Central, there's Northeast, Northwest.
North Central. So
You are
North Central.
You are North Central.
Looking for North,
North.
Northwest,
And Southeast.
Southeast. We really love that. Okay, let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll look at the front pages of the paper. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Tinubu, prosperity soon after subsidy removal pains. Terrorists, bandits on rampage. My friend Isa Gusau, Shetima writes on X-Aid. CCB invites Interior Minister. President leaders Lord ex-APC Chair Akonde at 85. Sanwo-Olu signs record 2.267 trillion naira 2024 estimates. NNPCL opens bid to privatize Port Harcourt refinery. And hoodlum sees body at Ekiti State University Teaching Hospital. Okay, which story? Let's take with major headline.
Okay.
Yes. So the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, was at the Dan Ayam Stadium in Owerri yesterday, where the swearing in of Governor Hope Uzodinma and his deputy for their second term was happening, and where the Chief Judge of Imo State was administering the oath of office, and he remembered Nigerians again and decided to, to reassure Nigerians of better times to come. He said prosperity soon after subsidy removal. He termed the 40 years plus that we paid subsidy as a wasteful period. He said we allowed a few to corner the resources of the country, and that has stopped. He promises that things will soon start to open up and look brighter for Nigerians. He shared positivity and, continued to reassure Nigerians. And for the first time since he assumed office, the president and Obasanjo, who opposed this presidential bid, met at the event. And sitting in their middle was the Senate president who...
He said that was intentional. Because the organizers knew he was coming. They knew that Obasanjo was going to be there, so they strategically put the Senate president.
For that,
oh, okay, you have that story.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I
thought
that was part of your story.
Also, I'm just recounting how the nation took it.
Okay.
But, his reassurances on what will come and all the policies, how his policies are supposed to help Nigeria return to prosperity is the highlight of his speech yesterday.
Okay, go ahead.
I can take the story. So, the way the nation reports it says the two patriots and foes met at last in Owerri. It was neither at the Council of State meeting nor the home of any of them. Anyway, it was, as Nima just read, at the swearing in of the second term inauguration of Governor Hope Uzodinma. And the way this reporter wrote this story is just funny. It says all eyes were on the two August visitors. The president was there, resplendent in white with a red cap, while the Obasanjo was in white too with blue cap, and that they greeted. And Obasanjo grabs the president's hands with both hands, and that they looked into each other's faces and they smiled. This reporter wrote all this.
Short story.
And they smiled. And he said that who knows what they were thinking in their minds. So the reporter goes on to say that the president is likely thinking, look at me, the person you never really wanted, and, mentioned all the issues that they had, in the administration where Obasanjo was president and how he stopped it. And then this reporter goes on to say that in Obasanjo's mind, maybe you say, this Idom boy, at last, despite all odds, made it to power at the center. Anyway, just to show that, these are, so we know them as two major political foes, and here they are, many years after, they have to be on the same platform, and
and they were rather civil.
Office, yes,
I think they were rather civil.
And Obasanjo gave him the respect of his office as well.
I actually didn't see that in the nation. I would have really loved. That's the kind of story I like.
Yes, so I picked two stories actually.
I'm sure that
I was shocked.
I missed it.
I'm surprised. It's old age, right? You're 63. You're 63. We can understand. We understand. Anyway, let's move
That's
on.
why I kept asking you, what did you take in the nation? Over and over.
I know, I took the hoodlums that invaded the Ekiti University Teaching Hospital. Apparently, they had taken their father, one of them had taken his father there to the accidents and emergency unit, and then he died a few hours later. So the hoodlums raided the hospital, accusing the doctors of negligence, and they now took the body away without paying medical bills. And, they chased all the doctors, everybody on duty, not just doctors, they chased everybody on duty away. What has happened now is that the Association of Residents Doctors in Ekiti have gone on strike, an indefinite strike with immediate effect. and it has paralyzed the activities of the hospital.
Okay, and that story?
NMPC, well.
Okay, let's take stories in this. Let's take Sanwo-Olu. So the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, on Monday assented to the 2.2 trillion naira appropriation bill passed into law by the State House of Assembly. The reports came that on Friday, January 5th, passed into law the 2.2 trillion naira appropriation bill. At the plenary, Sanwo-Olu on Wednesday presented a budget estimate of this amount, 2.2, assenting to the approved budget on Monday. The governor noted that there was an addition to the 21.743 billion naira by the House against the size presented back in December. So according to him, just moments ago, I assented to the bill as approved by the legislature for the purpose of clarity. The approved budget size is 2.2 trillion, comprised of the capital expenditure and also the recurrent expenditure. But however, he said that is 21 billion naira higher than what was presented to the House of Assembly due to additional provisions to enforce completion on ongoing projects. So he said that the details of the appropriation law will be provided by the Honorable Commissioner of Economic Planning and Budget. Okay.
Let me take one more story. The NNPCL yesterday opened a bid to privatize the operation of its Port Harcourt Petroleum Refinery. So this has been made available, the expression of interest has been made available on the website, and the decision was ensure reliability and sustainability. So NNPC is saying that they're seeking to engage reputable and credible operations and maintenance companies to operate and maintain one of its refineries, the Port Harcourt Refinery Company, to ensure reliability and sustainability towards meeting the nation's fuel supply and energy security obligations. This bid will close January 29th. All documents should be submitted electronically by February 26th. As we all remember, December 15th was announced as the completion, the mechanical completion of the refinery rehabilitation. So that's out.
Okay. The Punch, very quickly. Abduction epic spreads nationwide. OPMS, that's Organized Private Sector, blames struggling naira for highest inflation in 21 years. 14 states spent 21 billion naira on foreign trips despite zero FDI. Sanwo-Olu approves more projects with 2 trillion naira budget. Tinubu National Assembly governors remember fallen heroes. Kidnapping, Wike fiddles with Rivers politics while Abuja burns. 59 protesters killed, 189 journalists arrested under Buhari's report, and EFCC to arraign ex-minister over the unpaid 3.6 billion naira loan. Okay.
Okay, so I have a very sad major headline in the Punch, and it's just an article taking total account of all the kidnappings and banditry activities that have happened the past weeks. Of course, we know of the Al-Qadriya story and the Ariya story. The Punch took these accounts, and as well as other accounts of kidnapping and the dumping of some unidentified bodies that, were dumped. So the Ariya is Michelle Ariya, the 13-year-old girl that was, murdered, and Nabiha, as well as her sisters who have been abducted and Nabiha murdered as well. And so just an inventory of all these activities that have been happening. They said no fewer than 974 954 people were killed, while 4,000 plus were abducted across the country between January to December 2023. The security reports are not so encouraging. They said an Abuja-based risk security management consulting company confirms this. Also, no fewer than 10 passengers traveling. My God. So sorry.
Okay, let's go on a short break now. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still reviewing Punch on that story. I was going to take the lane of the wreaths. So the president, alongside the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, and the Speaker of the House of Reps, Tajuddin Abbas, on Monday were among those who laid wreaths at the 2024 Armed Forces Remembrance Day in honor of Nigerian military personnel who died in line of duty. The day marks the end of the Nigerian Civil War in 1970 and serves as a reminder of the sacrifices made by the armed forces to maintain the country's territorial integrity and peace. The highlight of the ceremony is the laying of wreaths at the National Cenotaph in Abuja, a solemn ritual performed by the president and top government officials. After the ceremony, the National President of Military Widows Association, Mrs. Veronica Aluko, said, though the wreath-laying ceremony showed that their husbands did not die in vain, they, however, need government to ensure adequate welfare for the widows.
Okay, I was just going to take a continuation of Nima's story, which talks about the minister of the FCT who, instead of facing the FCT, is facing reverse politics. While Abuja is burning, about 5 years ago, the FCT used to be one of the safest places because that's the seat of power and everything. But now they get car snatched, robberies, kidnapping, murders. All those things are
house to house, door to door kidnapping.
They enter the houses and knock on your door and kidnap you. That nowhere is safe in Abuja. And instead of our minister to face Abuja, he's now facing
Looking backwards.
reverse politics. So I think it's just a call on him to please leave Rivers. You have done that one, you have passed it. Do the one that you are mandated to do.
I totally agree.
100%.
So I have,
History.
yes, I have 14 states spend 21 billion
I know you
on
like it.
foreign trips.
It's not that. It's like we have to review. We have to read the papers.
So despite spending at least 21.4 billion on foreign trips in the last 3 years, 14 state governments have failed to attract any form of foreign investment into their domain. So the states in question are Bauchi, Bayelsa, Benue, Borno, Cross River, Ebonyi, Edo, Gombe, Imo, Jigawa, Nasarawa, Taraba, Yobe, and Zamfara states. So between 2021 and the third quarter of 2023, they have failed to attract any of the $14.8 billion that foreign investors channeled into Nigeria. There are many reasons for that. This report breaks down how much they spent on these foreign trips, despite no foreign investment. And there are different reasons why this may be, especially for the North, and particularly Zamfara. Says, you know, they've been plagued by insecurity. In Zamfara, for instance, banditry has become the order of the day, with almost 14 local government areas of the state occupied by bandits. You know, there's Kebbi State, Nasarawa, Jigawa in that mix. Benue State also, you know, according to them, they fall within that mix. And as we know, investors would not, in fact, it's described here by someone, says investment is crisis shy. So any place that there are crises, people would not want to invest there because, you know what, they need reliability and stability to be able to do that. There are different reasons also, you know, different governments would explain why they haven't been able to attract any foreign investment. So my question is, personally, is it, apart from insecurity, is it truly, is it just lack of, you know, the governors understanding, or governments and administrations understanding that there's work that needs to be done? They need to find creative and smarter ways to attract investment. But, you know, we also have the World Bank also saying that there have been net FDI inflows, meaning that foreign investors are also leaving Nigeria, taking their investments out, and they also named insecurity as one of the reasons. Okay, Daily Sun, very quickly. Kidnappers go gaga, rake in millions from Abuja victims. Tinubu governor's APC chair, others witness Uzodima's second term inauguration. Hoodlums invade Ekiti Teaching Hospital, attack doctors and steal corpse. 3.6 billion naira fraud, EFCC arrest ex-minister Omugwo. Armed Forces Remembrance Day, Tinubu governors, lawmakers, others honor fallen heroes. FG acquires BPE stakes in 11 electricity discos. And 747 CBT centers cleared for the 2024 UTME. Okay, which story?
We have the JAM story. So out of the 907 computer-based test centers across the country that applied to participate in this year's election UTME exams, JAMB has approved 747 out of them, and the ICT consultant to JAMB, Mr. Damilola Bamiro, also talked about the centers fully embracing the HIK vision and CCTV and recording the examinations within their centers this year. And they also talked about them beefing up internet. They don't want internet to fail. They're asking them to be in areas where they have good Airtel and MTN services. And I'm wondering, what about Glo and the other one? But then he encouraged them and said that they are lucky and they must do the best. JAMB cannot have a substandard exam, and they must have unique identifiers within for these exams in their centers as well.
Okay, another story, son.
Yes, I have operatives of the Lagos Zonal Command of the EFCC have arrested an 82-year-old former Minister of Commerce and Industry, Charles Chukwuemeka Ogu, over an alleged fraud to the tune of 3.6 billion. So they said he was minister during the late President Yar'Adua's administration. So the story is that he had obtained a loan facility from a bank for the purchase and production of polished rice. And they said that the bank had to approach EFCC because the bank petitioned him at the EFCC and failed to meet up any of the obligations to the bank. Efforts to get him to repay the loan facilities have proved abortive. And so, EFCC has arrested him, and investigations will continue, and of course, court will conclude the investigations.
Vanguard, let's find a story of not taking. Cost of business to remain high as inflation hits 28.9%. Electricity discos revenue collection rises 30% to 782.74 billion naira. Sanwo-Olu signs a 2.2 trillion naira budget into law. Steady supply. I'll fight saboteurs in power sector, says Adelabu. And Tinubu commends Tantita security orders for fighting oil theft. Okay, which story are we taking?
The Minister for Power, Adebayo Adelabu, has said that he has vowed to fight saboteurs of the sector who are scuttling the president's stand on making power available in the whole country. He said that he's going to fight them. He said he will stop at nothing to ensure the regular supply. And he also said that people are not happy that they are improving the supply. So they are sabotaging the infrastructure. They're doing everything to scuttle the power supply, and that he's going to stop at nothing to get it. He said, let nobody intimidate.
Some stories there. I also read this story, and I'm wondering which improved supply. Which supply did they improve? Supply has seriously, embarrassingly dropped.
So in a related story, according to what you just said, in spite of the ongoing epileptic power supply across the country, revenue collection of 11 electricity the discos rose by 30% in the first 9 months of 2023. That means that they've actually improved their modes of collection. The increase from 598 billion to 782 billion over the same similar period between 2023.
Thank God that the minister said that they're working on stopping estimated bills, because that's where the money is coming from. But the power is not coming. The
data also showed that collection efficiency improved by 3 percentage points, rising to 73%, recorded in the first 9 months of 2023. And so I was trying to find out if it was estimated billion that caused that increment, which I'm not sure. I'm waiting for the data.
I really...
With my full chest on live TV.
I have to compare it with data now. There's only full chest versus data. We have to also look at data.
I don't know whether our own is estimated, but our bill, 1.3 million. I nearly fainted.
Why did you pay all these bills?
Why are you on bills? No,
you're not on prepaid beta, you're on estimated bills.
Yes.
And on estimated bills, they give you power or not, they take their money.
Yeah.
They will take their money, and then we are still buying this with 500,000 a week. I mean, how do you make profits? There is no way you can make profits.
Let's move on to the Nigeria. You have a story. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, so the president has commended Tantita Security Services Limited and then other security agencies for combating oil theft, and hailed the fact that their collaborative efforts was yielding results. So the president was being represented by the Chief of Defense Staff, Major General Christopher Musa. This you know, they were there because Tantita had just arrested or impounded MT Kali, and this is a ship, you know, that had been caught in the process of oil theft. And so the Chief of Defense Staff says that they're there to inspect it, and also they're going to, you know, destroy it according to, in line with standard practice, to serve as deterrent to others. I know many times we've spoken about when they capture these ships, why they burn them or destroy them if we can use them. But it seems that this is the best way they think to handle oil theft and ships. So it's going to be destroyed. And they're also calling on media to stop making it look like the government and these security agencies are fighting against each other. It says we're all working together for Nigeria, and that we should call out all these thieves, you know, and make an example of them. But we're all working together for one country.
That is all we can take on today's front page review. When we return, move on to our hot topic of today. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we found a story online about a lady who says her mother-in-law did not perform duties attached to Omugwo. According to her, my mom-in-law came in for Omugwo and basically did nothing. All she does is eat, sleep, and watch television. According to her, she had a cesarean session, and she was trying to recuperate, and yet her mother-in-law was unable to assist her. Now, this is a conversation we've had many times, but the real conversation is, as we go into this new world, this automated world, this new women-empowered world, the concept of Omugwo, is this still relevant? Because we are also getting to the stage where we're going to become adults. We're going to become powerful women, you know, independent women. We're owning companies, we're MDs of companies, we're building empires. And at some point, if would our children require, our children's husbands or family or loved ones require us to come and do Omugwo, should there be a new meaning, a new definition to this responsibility that we've accorded to mothers-in-law? That's the conversation. You can call us on 081 076 1679 090 241 3440. You can also tweet to us at TVC Entertainment _. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. So who'd like to go first? I mean, go ahead.
Omugwo, as it is with the Igbo name, means your mom comes to take care of you when you put to birth and help you ease into motherhood. But it's different across cultures in Nigeria. So in the southwest, amongst the Yorubas, it's your mother-in-law that comes to ease her grandchild, who is her son's child, into motherhood. And so you now have this kind of situation where you're supposed to revere that person. And the person is supposed to come and help you ease into motherhood, make life easier for you. So you just put to bed, like the story says, she has a cesarean session. She needs help. She needs someone that will help care for her, you know, bathe the baby, help her ease, you know, really. It's more like serving and then, you know, connecting with the baby. And mothers-in-laws that you cannot then tell, I need something, are the ones that will come. So the girl in this case now has a cesarean session. The mother-in-law came for holiday vacation. She came to sleep. She's resting. She don't have pepper soup and pounded jam like the Edo people do, ready for her daughter-in-law in the morning. She don't send. And so the girl is faced with a situation and asking that, you know, her husband should go. Someone then replied on that tweet and said, the husband she should ask her husband to get her a maid. And I'm like, then the culture no longer serves us. If that's the situation, we need that help. I know when I had my first child, how my mother explained that till the 40th day of birth, they are watching you, hoping that you don't have any postnatal emergencies. So they will be carrying. There was a time I was breastfeeding and I passed out. I did not eat. I was thinking I wanted to get my shape back so fast. or something, and then I did not eat, and then I didn't know that breastfeeding was such a process, and I fell, and from hunger, and hey, auntie, you have to eat well. So she was always getting my food ready. It was my mom that was with me, getting me help and all of that. So I know how important that 40 days is. So imagine how a woman who is just learning all these things will be doing. How to bathe the baby, make sure the baby's neck doesn't bend, and then you have your mother-in-law just looking at you, how you did do, you know?
Well, let me come to you, because
okay,
I have a different perspective.
Yeah, so Omugwo, the name, you know, I've always just associated it with the Igbo culture, but today it's so mainstream. Just not too long ago, you know, friends of ours, their daughter just had a baby, and I'm like, oh, where's auntie? They said, oh, she's gone for Omugwo. I just thought it was cute. You know, that it's now mainstream. Like, we now use it in the North as a word, you know, when you go to help take care of children. But I also remember when I had my first child, and my mom was with me. I remember my mother-in-law saying, I'm the one that is meant to be there, but you know, I'm old and I'm not feeling too well. So she was very grateful to my mom, always calling to thank her for that. And in my mind, I was like, it's my mom, she's meant to do it, you know. But, you know, so it just helped me appreciate the culture that this is expected. But I got a lot of help from my mom, my auntie, my sister, you know, they were all around me. It made it seamless. Because I have now, I thought it was just normal, because I have seen people who have had a different experience. And I know how important that period is. When I had my second child, my mom was at work, you know, she could not make it to me. And I remember the first few days I was feeling a certain way. And this is my second birth. You know, I was already feeling a certain way, like, no, you have to make it. And she came. So it's an important period. And now for me, it shouldn't be about who should come to enjoy the family money. Because I've heard that argument that why should the mother-in-law go? You know, or why should the mother of the bride go? It's about enjoying the whatever perks that should be there. It should really be about the person that can give the person help. It may not even be a mother, it may be a sibling, it may be a cousin, you know, that can actually give someone help. I've heard stories of people who say their mothers couldn't do it, their own mothers. So this is not even about mothers-in-law. Their own biological mothers are unable to do it. They never had that experience themselves, you know, so they had to do it with their mother. So let's not make this about coming to enjoy any perks. Make it about those who can provide it. So Omugwo, as a cultural thing, I like that. We really need to help new mothers ease into motherhood, but put the right person there.
Okay,
if you know you can't, don't go.
I'm that example you gave. I didn't have any of that. I've always said it, and I've shared this story several times. And the truth is that many of our counterparts who live in different countries don't have their mother-in-law. There could be different reasons they couldn't get visas, you know, and they just have to find a way. So as much as I appreciate it's a culture, it's a practice, let's not make it look as if it can't be done, then something is really, really abnormal. Because there are, in my own case, for example, I've said this story many years ago. When I had my first child, and you know, I thought everybody would be excited. My mom's sister was very excited. I mean, even my mom was excited, obviously. So I would never forget that I came from the hospital. The doctor who took care of me, he sewed me up.
Yeah,
like, he sewed me really bad, and I was in pain. I got home, I was on the bed, I sat down, and I was crying internally because I had mommy, my mom's sister, and they were all coming to the room, checking on the baby and everything. I was in serious pain. My mom came, she sat next to me, and she was just eating her apple and just being happy. And she didn't even notice I was crying. Her sister came like an hour after.
I saw you.
I came upstairs and said, "You're in pain. What's wrong with you?" And that's when I was like, "Hey, is you in pain? What happened to you?" My mother had no clue. So the point is that for my own mother, she already told me that I can't do that. She'll carry your baby for 2 minutes and she's like,
take your thing.
Baby, you know, lovely. She'll greet you from afar. Yeah. So I already knew my mother was not going to, so I wasn't even bothered by my mom. Now my mother-in-law, she's married and I had a husband. She wasn't going to leave her husband and come and live all the way from the fair and come and meet you in. Okay. She wasn't going to do that. So I had twins and I had to take care of them myself. Wow. Now, I was helped by my first child. I had Auntie Yabo who stayed with me. So my mother left that one. But please, me, I can't do it, but you stay. She was with me for 3 months, back to back. But for my twins, me, myself, and God. Wow. So I would bath them and I would do those things. And, you know, and even my mama wanted to help. Yeah. Mama would come to help. Grandma came to the house and said, "Listen, I want to carry these children, but they will fall. My hands are no more strong.
Yeah.
So please, I'll just be here, you know, when she can. Maybe like, so but she can't carry it, she can't bath baby. So I knew that she would have done what Mama Brown, that's Femi's mom, would have loved to do, but she couldn't because of her age. So that was the reality.
There was a popular experience I had. So this Omugwo thing is not necessarily about your mother-in-law or your mom.
Exactly.
Wherever you are, it is a culture Africans understand. So my mother, God bless her, showed the example all my life growing up. I cannot count the number of babies of my neighbors my mother took care of. So once a new mother was returning from the hospital, Alaja, as she's popularly called by some people, or Rashida, as some people would call her, she will show up in your kitchen, she will boil the water. She will bathe the baby as the baby is coming. They used to use palm oil, native sponge, and black soap. So they say they take the baby body odor and all of that away. Yeah. And then they will cook for the mother. Based on your culture, my mother would pound the yam and our black soup. Black soup in our place is supposed to help cleanse the blood. Depending on the level of pepper, I could not stand pepper in my own, the first one I had. And she would do that for all those mothers growing up. Till their mothers show up, my mother would be going there every morning before she goes to open her shop. She didn't have to be their mother.
You saw that. And
I saw that
that's your
growing
own
up.
expectation.
So now...
Some people didn't see that. They didn't have that kind of expression.
It
They don't
doesn't-
expect
I'm just saying,
somebody to come and do that for them.
Yeah, well, I grew up very communally. I try to live that life. So right now I'm working. When a friend of mine had a baby, and her mom passed while she was pregnant, and I knew her dad and mom passed 3 months of each other while she was pregnant with that baby. In the morning, my own is to carry my bucket of pap and show up. Wait, who is making the pap? Another neighbor will say, okay, I'm the one at work. I'm going to work. Make sure she eats breakfast. So I grew up like that because I saw those women gather. My mom, her friends, they will shop. One would just say, this is the one that can hold new baby. Me, I can't hold new baby. My mom was the one holding all the new babies.
Before I go, because I know I wanted you to
have to be
my own thoughts, because I'm done both.
Okay.
I've been a recipient and I have given. You know, when I had my daughter, my mom came, but I was lucky. I didn't have just my mom. I had my mom, my grandmom, and my sister. In fact, my husband drove all of them. I'm tired. Go. You know, but I had nothing to do. My mother was there. My sister did all the work. She would bath the baby. And I had a cesarean, so I was totally spoiled. I didn't even have to carry the baby. So when my daughter was going to give birth, automatically, I wanted to do what my own mother did for me. So I went there and I stayed with her with Temidire, I stayed for 2.5 months. But with Temidire, he was lucky because I went to England like 3 times that year. You know, so, and he even got to know me. That's why maybe he's so close to me, because I was there for him. When she was going back to work again, I went there for 3 months and stayed, so that the transition between not seeing your mom was so. And I loved to do it because I loved getting close to my grandchildren. I did it with but COVID didn't let me stay too long with them, Ariri. But now I still go. I will go next month. I will go and stay with them, you know, just to relieve
but let me go on a short.
I think it's important, especially at that side where you don't have help.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why let's go on a break. When we come back, we'll continue this conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing this Omugwo, and one of the things I wanted to bring out was the fact that we are our environment. Because I didn't grow up ever seeing anybody Omugwoing for anybody as a child. And when I even went to the US to live with my brother, his wife did everything. I was in the hospital when they gave birth to his first child. I was in the hospital when we came back, did the car seat, everything was in our house by ourselves. And yes, mommy came afterwards, but the truth is that there was a lot of things we had to do. So for me, it was my responsibility.
So you had no expectations.
So I didn't have an expectation for my in-law. If she couldn't come, she couldn't. I was just, so I didn't think about, so it's based on how you see the world. And the point is that some people make it a big deal. Oh, my mother-in-law didn't show up. Oh my goodness, they hate me. Or this, what kind of wicked woman is this? So it's the narrative we put out there. Some people, yes, it's important because that's how you grew up, understood it. Others, it's not a big deal. If she's available, fine. If she's not available, fine. I can handle it. So it depends on the world.
What if you can't?
So you know, when you
Yeah.
started, you said your environment shapes you. So with the Igbos, it's like a big thing.
Deal.
A big deal.
Growing up in the North, it's every woman in your compound
Exactly.
that is your Omugwo. Even if you don't have parents, you know that women will be there. The ones that will tell. Growing up as a child, I used to be so scared of having a baby because you hear a woman screaming, hey, hey. One kanjego is what we call it. They use some medicinal leaves in very hot water to massage the body. As children, we're just allowed to get the water to the pot, but we didn't know what was happening. But we were scared that once you have a baby, you're going to be screaming. But then my mom, because of her own experience with nursing, you know, it was much easier. And then the tying of the stomach was important. But also, I didn't have any expectations because it wasn't. And then when I even had like outsiders come in, I was uncomfortable. I didn't want anybody that was not my mom or my auntie or my immediate family to be touching my child. I felt I would stand over them, you know? So our environment definitely shapes us. But this is a culture, like in Nigeria, it's an important part of bringing a child into the world. So that's why you have people who have that expectation think you're not doing the right thing. But today, here we are in 2024. I think the thinking should change.
Yeah.
There's so many reasons why someone will not be able to show up for you. Either the person is not that
Davos for international world.
But I'll make the time.
It depends on the kind
I'll
of
make the time. I would love to
you just
do
can't
it.
make
But Morayo, it will be
I'll make
worse.
it. I would love to do
It will be
But
worse
I want
to
to
have
hear you because you know you always have
your
good
mother.
food. Let me take this call now. Come back to you.
Sorry,
I have a call from Abuja. Nima, thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, to the glory of God, my baby is 41 days today.
Your baby is 21 days.
41 days.
41 days. Congratulations.
I never wanted anybody around me. Right from when I was pregnant. Not even my mother or my mother-in-law. I prepared myself. Whenever people come to my door, I don't even want to see you. Just send me a call. Just call. So when I had my baby at the hospital, I already hired the cleaners that will be helping me while at the hospital. I have a mother, but she's aging. My mother-in-law today are willing, but I never wanted. I've circumcised my baby. They will always call every day. How is your baby doing? That is what I want. I'm a researcher. I work 24 hours. If I have them around, they will tell me, go and sleep. You need to rest. But I needed my time because I have time free. And my baby is fine today. I have my sister that are returning from school during the Christmas break. So I already planned that they will be there for me. I have three of my brother-in-law, my other younger ones, and my own younger sister are coming from school. They can help and they are still here.
Yeah.
So why should we stress people unnecessarily? And why should we always plan that people should be there for us? Plan for yourself. What if you are abroad? That was my...
Exactly. Thank you very much, Nima. Yes.
I was going to say, sorry, Nima, I was just going to say, there are some things that, some cultures here that I would have hated for my baby. So if anybody had come to do that, I would have driven them like...
I know what you're talking about.
There is the one that they use a sponge and they say the baby has body odor. And the poor baby will be screaming in pain. The baby that the kidney is soft, you will now use sponge, you will now scrub. Nobody could have done that to my child. Wait now. Nobody could have done that to my child. I will never, ever have accepted it. That's one. Two, there was one, she was our neighbor, because I used to stay, the one where they hold the baby upside down.
Shake the baby.
That's why we are all mad in Nigeria.
Yes.
They are very
Shake the baby
upside down. So we don't have sense again.
Yes.
Look. So you are not meant to be held upside down.
No.
If you are meant to be held
Especially a baby.
upside down, you will be a bat. Bats are upside down, not human beings. One. Two. So the third one that they do is I've lost my train of. They shave the hair. They say the baby hair. Then they did it to my neighbor. You know, was taking 1,000 and they did it, and the poor baby had blood all over its head.
That's poor.
I know.
Muslims,
You know, they use the
Yes.
blade to shave that part.
properly.
And you know, this thing,
Yes.
you see, God that born us with hair on our head in this hot sun. You know, Oyibo babies, they don't have hair on their head.
Yes,
African
they're
babies, most of them have hair because of the hot sun. So that our hair will block that.
the gestational.
That's
JYK, knows the intention.
You know that thing?
I don't know.
What's
It
it
doesn't
called?
close. I remember.
it doesn't close.
Yeah,
That's why
your
God
skull. That
put you with hair because of the hot sun, so that you will not
Let
be
me, before I
mad.
come to you, because I know Nima wants to say something. Nima, let me just share my own story of that thing you said. So I have a cousin. His name is my cousin in the US. My mother came to do Omugwo for them, and his wife is American, Yolanda, and she did all these things. She did all the scrubbing, and when she spanked the baby or something, or when she massaged the baby's body, did everything, and now did that upside down thing. Hey, Yolanda cried. She want to kill my baby. Yolanda was crying and screaming, you want to kill my baby? Me and I to do, how is she killing your baby? What's going on? She also saw how my mom was, pulling the leg and tried to stretch out the leg with the oil.
your mom didn't do that for you.
My mom didn't do that for me. You know me, I
was traumatized for
she
that?
did it for my older brothers, my other because she did it for me. By the time she got to me, I was tired.
Yeah.
So, but she did it for my brothers. So definitely, all her children, she came for their Omugwo. But the point I was trying to make is that she cried like a baby. And in fact, she almost called the police.
Wow.
That they're about to kill her baby. And we just kept trying to reassure her that, no, that your son, that's how they did him also. Your husband. That's how they did all of us. That's how they did us. So we are alive.
So there are beautiful sides to our touching of the baby. And the sponge is not the hard one. They soak it overnight. You touch the baby, they sponge the baby. Just as your soft sponge. Yeah. I've seen it. When they finally did it to my daughter, I knew what to prepare. When my mother was asking where's the sponge, and they had not soaked it, like, no, we can't bathe the baby today. So tomorrow morning, we'll soak it. We will soak it with hot water. They will clean your baby. They will put palm oil all over your baby and black soap and clean up your baby. Nothing demonic about African.
I didn't say it was demonic.
No. I'm just saying because medically, I'm just trying to clarify. So medically, the throwing up and turning upside down is wrong. Okay. And then those mothers trying to
know.
Yes.
So traditionally, is it wrong?
Yes. Traditionally, they still do it. They justify it. Yes. So I didn't like it because I read too many books before I even got pregnant, talk less of to when I had a child. So I argued those stages, but I allowed them to do what they needed to do out of love. I just tried to lovingly understand. What I could not stand was I insisted on exclusive for my babies. And I did not understand our baby must drink water, So my mother-in-law would carry a bottle and say, this baby is thirsty. I said, how is the baby thirsty? There's enough water here. And me, I lactate a lot. If I have 10 babies, I can breastfeed them well without baby food for 6 months. So I wanted to continue feeding my baby, and they were, with my son, they'll say he's hungry. That's why he's crying. He's not hungry. He's probably, trying to bop and all of that. So I prepared, but I saw and I tried to understand the cultures as how they do them with love. What I would not allow, and you see the stretching of the bones for the babiys.
Yeah.
When they bathe the baby,
Mom did that a lot.
Yes, take their hand back. I like that because you see the baby.
They break their bones.
They sleep like
My mom did it so gently.
There's
everything, all the pressure points.
Some of them, they break their bones.
On top of the buttocks where they will put those
those two dimples. There's a way you follow.
There's a beauty to it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me take this
I would
call.
like someone who would do a documentary and beautifully cover all those things.
Yeah.
I'll tell my mom. My mom is really good
out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
My
Let me
son
take
is
this call
Yes,
from
so she's really good
Maria's
with that.
calling from. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for calling.
I'm calling from Abuja.
Yes, you're live.
Yeah, I love this topic, Omugwo. I just want to share my little experience. Some ladies, they carry this Omugwo as if top of their head, as if nothing happens, there's nobody to take care of them, that is the end of the world. I want to share my experience with you, ladies. When I had my first baby, at the age of 22, I had my first baby. There was nobody to take care of me. Even my mother-in-law that came, she was old, so she could not even do anything. And my mother was very far, she could not come. So I look at the whole thing, and this is a baby that I had. I got married early at the age of 18. And this is a baby I had 4 years after marriage. It would have been a precious thing, and just to have people around. But when they were not there, what will I do? There was this particular day, the day I put to bed, I got home from the hospital. I look around for somebody to send to buy something from the next street. There was nobody. My mother-in-law was there. My husband was running up and down for 1 or 2 things. I looked and I needed this thing. I had to go out out of the gate. Immediately, my neighbors around saw me out. Why are you outside? I want to buy something. They say, do you think you are strong? They quickly grab, the women around quickly grab the money from me and say, oh, let me send their children to go. They sent their children to buy those things for me. And that was all. So what will I do? Will I now go inside and look at my mother-in-law and look at her as being useless? No. I just took it upon myself. Okay, let me just endure. After all, it cannot continue like that. But when I had my last baby, it was breast roses. Everybody, people were around me. Although it was through Operation CS, I had the baby, and it was so. Ladies should be. At that time, there was money for me. I was able to pay some 1 or 2 people that would take care of me. So women should always know that people cannot be there for you at all times that you want it.
Thank you, Maria.
Please, that woman that was late. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Maria.
May I respond to Maria? So I'm happy that she was able to handle it herself. But I want to say that many women find it a very difficult and tough situation, especially the very first time. I'm happy that your story and Maria's story is a healthy one. I know someone who said she almost committed suicide with her child, as in murder-suicide, because she had no help. She had gone abroad, insisted. You know how Nigerians, we insist on doing some things because we feel that means you have arrived. She says she barely had any money, put them together so she could go abroad to have a child. And she was there. That was all the money she could afford for just her and to have the baby. And she had no help. She said one day she just put the baby in its pram and was just pushing. She said she was tired. She said I was not sleeping, I was not eating, the baby was crying, I'm crying myself. There was nobody to turn to, and she just wanted to get on the road and the train. And they grabbed her, said someone saw her, knew like what she was doing, grabbed her, and they got social worker for her, someone to visit her. So if you are able to do it, it's good, but there are many women who are unable to. We've heard about the postpartum blues and things like that, even worse things than that. So yeah, they're serious. We definitely need a support system. Yes. And in discussing this Omugwo, I don't want us to demonize Omugwo. It's a beautiful thing about our culture. But I think, you know, the way Oyimbos do it, let's document it. Let's look for safer ways to do it. Let's encourage people who are strong enough and who have experience to do that. But let's not take Omugwo away.
Yeah, I don't think Omugwo should be taken away. Because I think that's the beautiful part of our culture is that you have somebody to help you. Even if it's your sister, even if it's help, there is somebody, because doing everything by yourself
there's this part that I think we should do away with. The compelling of one person, or the person compelling themselves to come when they know they're incapable. I appreciated my sister's mothers-in-laws, both of them, my elder sisters. When the first one to give birth, her mother-in-law was too aged at the time. She was close to her 80s. She said, I'm too tired. And as soon as my mother came, she said, thank you, help us. She owned up that, because my mom was far younger and, more able. And she opened up. But the reverse is what I started seeing in other people, where you see somebody who can't, but insist on staying. It's my son's house. You stay, and then you put the... Yes. One of my friends, her experience was so nasty. Terrible. I deliberately did not marry that particular tribe because of that thing. I saw it and it was too nasty. I was like, if this is how it is and it's compulsory in your culture, I don't want to experience it. So her mother-in-law showed up, insisted on staying, refused to help her, and then when she asked her mom to assist her, she walked her own mom out, insisted on staying, and the girl was still helpless. So as a friend, I would not be forced after lectures to show up and help her carry the baby. I'll be like, this thing is not easy. She'll be like, hey, it's my mother-in-law, I cannot do anything. There was a particular day we had to go and buy. She was so hungry, and I came in late. She was flashing my phone, and when I showed her, I have not eaten since morning. And the woman was inside the house. She was snacking. She was having fun. I was like, ask her for... She said, I can't ask her to cook. I was like, why will you have somebody that you can't ask for help at this time?
I get that part. So for someone like me, just to make sure I put proper clarity into my proper perspective into my own story. So my mother did Omugwo for all my brothers, and I have lots of brothers and their wives. So they did that in their own time. And then I was young. I was a teenager. By the time I gave birth, obviously, she just felt like, listen, Auntie, I can't do this, but I can support you from afar. But my mother-in-law, on the other hand, even though she couldn't be with me physically, she would send food stuff. she'll make sure I had, so when they come for the weekend, she will bring plenty food. So I had support. So I had aunties. Mrs. Adeshaka will come, bring pepper soup fish. We'll have one auntie. They'll just show up once in a while, bring stuff. So they're not living in my house to be carrying my baby, bathing my baby, but at least they come around. Cooking. I was not alone. And I wasn't by myself, and I wasn't cooking. I wasn't going to the kitchen to cook, but I had somebody who would be cooking for me. So there was that African culture support that I had that maybe my counterparts abroad may not have. So the point is that, aside from Omugwo, the point I wanted to make from Shani's example is that Omugwo is great, but there are some times where it might be...
Punitive.
There's an abuse of Omugwo.
There's an abuse of that, but the point I was trying to make is that let us not make too much demand on what of Omugwo that is not possible. So sometimes you can give the 100%. Some people can't. And we must begin to understand where they are coming from. It's not because your mother-in-law hates you. There's some situations where they just cannot be there for you. Like
worse when they cannot honor.
So that's it.
Worse is that you are there because of the show-off. You want people to think you're taking care of your daughter.
But you're not doing anything.
But you're not doing anything. And the poor girl... She will now, and you know, some women don't forget certain things and certain periods. When a woman is pregnant, when she's adjusting to motherhood, when she's just giving birth, anything that happened during that period can be so lifelong.
That's what I'm telling you about the apple my mother was eating. I could never forget.
This kind of thing online.
It was a green apple.
Yes.
It was a green apple. I know exactly where she sat. I know exactly.
Because you were in pain. So you now have this kind of tweets and messages that women will be writing online about mothers-in-laws. Whereas if I were a mother-in-law and I cannot show up for my daughter, she would know about it. If we need to hire someone, we will hire someone. If Igbo women in my neighborhood started doing that, I didn't even know they could hire a Omugwo woman. So they will hire someone who they will pay for that 3 months to take care, do everything the mother-in-law or mother would do. And the person will come and do it, and I'll be like, this person, no, she was paid for it. I found that they were paying for Omugwo as well.
So when my mom couldn't come for my second birthday, she sent someone.
I think we should actually define the meaning of Omugwo. If Omugwo means to look after the mother and the child, and you know you can't do it, sit in your house.
Don't come. Thank you.
Don't go.
You're not feeling fine.
I think that the meaning, I don't know, I'm not Igbo, so I don't know the meaning of Omugwo. Maybe Obiajulu can tell us. If Omugwo means come and look after my child and me, and you can't do it, sit down in your house.
So that's what I want to say.
But my presence in your house can mean a lot. So, okay, fine. Imagine, let me hold brief for the woman who can't do anything. Okay. I can't cook because maybe I'm not a cooking person. But I am here. The fact that I'm here, I'm mother. When they bring something, I'm around. There's somebody in the house. You can dash to the store to go and buy something. I am here. That's like what I can do.
Okay, so
if you're in my house when I just have a baby, sorry, Miriam, and you're not pulling your weight, I will hate you for so long. You will not know why. If you cannot come, don't help. Don't
appreciate my presence.
I will appreciate it.
Okay.
I need help. If you cannot end right, don't come and sit as a mirror or sit like a shelf in my house when I need that help.
Yeah, so I was going to say about people who have family who love them but cannot give the help. It's different from someone who comes in and makes it even more hard for you. So there's some people, and I think that's what we're discussing, where some people will come in and they expect you to... I have a personal story. I just don't want to say it because she will know it's her story and she'll be upset with me. But where someone has come in knowing that you've just had a baby, CS, and is expecting you to cook. To drop them off at the park, to do things that you're not expecting. So that's what we're talking about. So if you come in and you're unable to help, I can't bath the baby, but I can hold the baby while you go and have a bath. Well, no, that's not a bad thing.
I can change the baby's
diaper. I can change the diaper. We know that you're there. You're limited in some ways, but you're there to help. But we have people that are there to say, I'm in my son's house.
Demands,
Madam, this is my son's house. We are feeding you.
I never do anything.
Yes, we are feeding you. Exactly. Are you the first person to give birth? When I gave birth to your husband, it's my 6th child. I did it by myself. So lazy, there are some people that do that, and that's what we're talking about.
Let me take this call. I'll come to you. I think I have Yakub. Thanks for calling. You're live.
Yeah. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Good morning.
This topic is very, very fantastic, and then it's also personal to me as well. This topic makes me to remember my mother, my late mother, and God, all my dear, make her soul rest in perfect peace. Is it Morayo? See, this Omugwo of a thing. It is unfortunately that before I started married 20 years ago, my mother was no more. But experiencing it when my elderly brother married. Do you know what? For the past 6 months of my brother's wife delivered a baby then, when we are staying in Guinness Street here in Agege, my mother came all the way from the village. She always spent at least 6 months. Do you know what my mother always do? My mother does not even need anything from my brother or my wife's brother, anything. Whatever she would need to use, she would brought it from the village. For the past 6 months that would stay with us there, everything, you see, for the fact that she will cook, the kind of the aroma that will come when you are coming into our house, you will feel like, who is cooking here? And then for my mother, the wife of my brother she will not do anything for the past 6 months. She would just, the only thing she do is to breastfeed, cooking, anything at all, anything you can think of. But by the time my mother is about to leave, to back to village, my wife's brother will be starting crying, saying, Mommy, are you going? I'm like, yes, after this one, I need to leave. So, Omugwo of a thing, Megan does say something. If you know that you cannot do anything, please stay, don't come. Okay. Whoever wants to help a woman should be able to be around her because of that time. But when I started marrying, that is no more. In fact, me and my wife do Omugwo by ourselves. So the extent that in the midnight, when the baby begins to cry, my wife is saying, Alaji, Egbe Omo yi. Omo mi o le gbejo, oh Lord, told you how to sue me that. You know that kind of a thing.
Thank you very much, Yakub.
So what Yakub said brings another beautiful part of Omugwo, the connection between the in-laws, the daughter and mother-in-laws. You see that beauty of help that she gives to an appreciative mind might be what the girl would use to be indebted to you forever. Mother-in-laws should start to see it that way. There was this nasty experience when Miriam was sharing one that I remembered. So this mother-in-law lived somewhere in the southeast village, or Iloke, that kind of place. And she showed up when her daughter-in-law gave birth with 2 extra grandchildren. The daughter-in-law would bathe her baby and bathe 2 other grandchildren that are not her own. And food's supposed to be ready because those small children will start crying. The mother-in-law will not start saying, Shanti, have you cooked for them? Won't you cook for them? And the girl will be running mad. She'll be like, who will cook for me? I need help. And when the husband comes, she's called rude, disrespectful, for having spoken back to his mother. Because there was a day there was a breaking point where there was the fight and flare. And I was trying to explain to the guy that you're such a mess as a human because you can't even put things together. You can't say that this woman needs help. Say, no, she's disrespectful because your mom is here, right here. 2 new children to somebody just adjusting to motherhood who has not had the child. Even somebody with a 3rd child will suffer with, very close children that she needs help. Why won't you see that? The beautiful part is what you do. I had a friend who used to have this hyperemesis during pregnancy. They lived in Warri. And her mom did not show up. Her own mother never knows how to show up. But you see, her mother-in-law, she was such a gift. And the girl was now getting pregnant back to back. When she was pregnant with her 4th child, the mother-in-law said to her, you want to kill me? I feel the need to care for you, but if you get pregnant again, then I will just say, Kuku, take my life. This one is just less than, it's not up to 2 years and you are pregnant again. That means I will not even have a life. Because the mother-in-law has to be with her throughout pregnancy and even after she has given birth. And she loves it. So she got easy. I said, Auntie, you were supposed to be planning life along.
My sister told me, said, this is the last one. After the second one, please, I'm done.
Don't try. So you need to be very close to, you will appreciate such help if you are.
I think that there's a lot of daughters, they take advantage of that. They have help and so they keep on churning out the babies. Scum. I'm always warning my daughter, scum.
Enough. Momo took care of that Femi's grandmother. She raised all Femi's siblings and himself. And then his sisters had kids way before he started having kids. And Momo was the person, they were shipping up all over the place. They were in Ireland, they were in US. So Momo was traveling around taking care of children. And so when she now came to, now Femi finally had his own child, she was she was just pained that she couldn't say, I don't mind staying here, but I can't carry that baby. I will drop your baby. Because she was already in her 90s. So she knew that she would have issues carrying the baby. But I mean, so far, she's still around. So the point I was trying to make earlier was that, yes, mother-in-law cannot do some things, but their presence, yes, Momo can't do anything for me right now. But the fact that she's even in my house at all, for me, is value.
If you had a nanny, she would watch. She would watch that nanny.
Yeah, so that's what the mother-in-laws who are incapacitated for whatever reason can do. They are watching the nanny who is bathing the children. They are there. They are
if you don't have the nanny, she's there. After 40 days, adjusting to my child by myself, there was a day I bathed my child and so passing through the lungs. I saw her and there was nobody. Imagine that I still have to go and take care of one body. who will say, she's not giving my hot tea early morning. I won't appreciate that person.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine how other women would feel. You know, I remember throwing my daughter and looking back, and when I noticed that I was alone, doing something about it by myself. But I would have loved that, the way my mom used to wake me up with the smell of fried plantain every morning, just because I gave birth.
I mean, that's all we can take on this, because we have to wrap up. But I think different strokes for different folks. People have, I mean, when I hear all these stories of they'll bring hot pepper soup, it was only my aunt, Miss Adeshok, that brought me fresh hot pepper soup.
Who tied your stomach for you? Every day.
My mom.
Did they tie your own stomach?
So
my stomach.
I think my so for Elizabeth's birth was Auntie Yabo that she was with me. She stayed with me. But for the twins, I think I tied
my stomach.
I tied it myself.
They tied it for me.
See why
I got a girdle.
See why many years after I think.
YK got a girdle.
I got a girdle. I got a girdle.
Snitcher, Cincher. For Imran's birth. YK was the one that got that thing.
Yeah. I got a girdle. I was in it myself.
It took 3 people to wait for me.
Me was my younger sister tied me up every day. She would check it. I'm like, madam. So that's why after the second test,
I want to feed them. I'll carry one like this. I carry the other one like this.
Wow.
Put the head will be here. I'll just be like this. Just carry. Brown moved to a different. He just excused us. He moved to guest room. So he ran away practically. So the whole room was ours. I mean, so the bed, one crib here, one crib there. I'll be on the bed. And actually I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was.
How much? So this brings us even conversation of maternity leave. Knowing what women go through at this period. That's 3 months. Is it 3 months?
Let's 3 months is too short. We have to wrap up. Yeah, take a few comments.
Immaculate Boy says, my brother's mother-in-law came for Omugwo since June. She has refused to go since baby and stop exclusive. Please kindly tell my sister-in-law to tell her mom to go. I know she's watching. Biliki says, I like your suggestion that infant care, according to culture, be documented. The reason most youngsters these days wouldn't want it is because they knew some of the procedures is medically wrong, like putting the baby upside down, and that's scary. The general says, even a movie on Omugwo would be etched in our contemporary subconsciousness and expose the beautiful aspects. And our African culture is the right of women. It wasn't too comprehensive.
Benedicta Ade says, if a person did surgery, everyone thinks they need help. Until a woman gives birth naturally or by CS, then she's told to be strong. Oluwa Sheun says, my mother-in-law poured cold water on my baby. The way the baby responded got her so scared. She said, Moti down wrong. Since then, she stopped. When they told me, I laughed. Babies are different.
Yeah. Okay, so the general says, please, we must not impose on our nature of not wanting Omugwo on those that want it. It is their right and by culture, and God, it is appropriate. As a lecturer, I get worried when I sense my students have body odor, and we know why. So I would like to find out the factual, medical, scientific. If you don't get that, what do you call it? Is it palm oil bath? And the sponge bath. Yeah, we need to find out if that
it's not scientific. I wasn't bathed with palm oil.
It's not scientific. I know someone who was thoroughly bathed with palm oil.
And so she had
body odor. And then she had to seek medical help. And she didn't know she had some gestational deformity.
That is all we can take on this topic. I think in a nutshell, really, Omugwo is a beautiful culture. That those of us that didn't experience it would have loved to have that kind of experience. But either way, if you are not one amongst those who got it, what we're trying to say here is that it's a beautiful culture that we should encourage, we should document, and you shouldn't hate your loved ones if they are unable to do for whatever reason. We just encourage each other to support each other. And let's not only wait for Omugwo for in-laws or mothers. It could be community, it could be aunties, it could be neighbors, it could be friends. Let's all support. Mothers need help when they just have children. It's important for us to give support in whatever way we can find. Okay, let's go on a short break. When we have a very special guest. This is a special guest. Okay, it's a special guest. I'm just checking. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So our guest today is a rather trending man in recent times. Joining us is the former spokesman for Atiku Abubakar, the candidate of the PDP, that's the People's Democratic Party, Mr. Daniel Bwala. He will be speaking on his visit to the president and the state of the nation. Welcome to the show, sir. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, good to have you on the show. So you've been trending the last couple of days because people are wondering where exactly does this man, where exactly does he stay? Is he APC? Is he PDP? Let me just clarify. Are you still in PDP? Let's cross that hurdle first.
Yes, I'm a member of PDP, but I'm 110% in support of the administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and I'm committed to ensuring that in every way that I can, I advocate for what President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to do at this difficult time in Nigeria to be able to pilot this country into a better destination that we all hope for. And I think that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu must be probably implementing the agenda or the leadership style of Abraham Lincoln. If you read the book, Lincoln on Leadership, Executive Strategies in Tough Times, you will see that at the time Abraham Lincoln began that his leadership, he had to lead America through the Civil War. He was confronted by the separatists at the time, they called them the Confederates, who were trying to break away from America. So he was fighting for a strong union. 2, there was the abolition of slavery. Many of the federating units did not want to give up slavery, and he needed to do that. 3, there were wars left, right, and center, and he came up with the principle you fight one war at a time. Then he wanted a strong federal government, and then to deal with the American economy. So he knew that that cannot be achieved by him projecting the Republican Party as the one that will do that. So Abraham Lincoln spread his hands and called on all American citizens to see it as a rallying point. So that is what I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is trying to do, because on the 1st of January, he made a call to everybody, including people from opposing political parties, to come together so we can deal with the difficult situation that we're confronted by and answer the call.
Okay. How does your principal feel about your association and visitation of the president?
Well, directly, if it is between me and him, I don't know how he feels because he has not communicated to me any negative feelings. But I have seen on several social media where people are trying to say that he felt terribly bad about it. What I can tell the Nigerian people is that I notified him before going, and then shortly after I left the villa, after I met the president, I notified him that I had just seen the president today. I honored the president's invitation and I had seen the president, and his reply was, "Thanks, Daniel, for notifying me." So as far as I'm concerned, this is my memory and my belief. But anything else that anybody is saying, even if I had seen it somewhere, since it is not communicated directly to me, it doesn't matter. You see, at this time, I think it's about Nigeria. It's not about individual. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, whether we like it or not, is the president of the republic.
Okay.
If you have an official office, if you have an office, there must be the picture of the president.
Yes.
If you look at your passport, it is issued in the name of the president of the republic. You see, all of us after the election had our bad feelings about the outcome of the election. But I gave an analogy of a plane, that the plane is the country. Citizens are in the plane. Pilot and the co-pilot is the president and the vice. Having crew officials might be the ministers or agents of the government. Once it has taken off, it is above the sea level. Everybody's prayer must be the safe landing of the plane. When the plane finally lands, you can complain about the pilot's skill, whether the way he landed you felt threatened. You can even complain in the mid-air that the way he's navigating around the turbulence, you are not comfortable. But I have never been in an airplane where the passengers are praying for the plane to crash.
Yeah. On the second, today is what date is today? 16th? 16th. On the 2nd of January, that is like 14 days ago, you gave an interview where you said that Atiku was the best president that Nigeria never had. You said you support him. You praised him to high heavens. Now, today, you are supporting the president of Nigeria. What changed between the 2nd of January and the 16th of January, 2 weeks ago?
Yes, what changed principally is that one man is a free moral agent, and the only thing constant in nature is change, and you have a right to change, even without giving anybody the reason for your change. But you can also go ahead and advocate the reason for the change. Mr. President was honored to invite me to go and meet him, And after I had sat with the president and listened to the president, in fact, let me tell you this. When I sat across the table with the president surprised me by first telling me that he had been following my interviews, even my tweets, that they are often brought to him, and that he appreciates the fact that I'm young, intelligent, very articulate, and respectful in the conduct of my affairs. And then he proceeded, which he didn't need to explain to me all the policy decisions he has taken for which I criticize. For example, the removal of fuel subsidy. He told me the premise on which he made that decision. And facts can change opinion. You can have an opinion about anybody, maybe based on available fact that you are. When you get the chance to interact or interface with the person, either you can maintain the same opinion if you feel unconvinced, or you can change your opinion if you feel convinced. In this given situation, I felt convinced that the President Bola Tinubu has the passion to do that. Is it perfect? No. Will he make mistake in policy decision? Yes. Will you criticize at some point? Yes. But he is a president who is wanting the good for Nigeria. And I want a future for my children. I want a country. I am only a citizen of Nigeria, not any other country. So I want a country that works. And because God has given us privileged opportunities in our lives to be able to affect public policy, we cannot sit back and watch it. We have to play our role. Neither can I sit somewhere and say, I wish that the plane crashed. Because when the plane crashes, actually, neither the pilot nor the passengers are safe.
Okay.
Mr. Bola, I'm very shocked by your, 360 turn on this support, because I know that you're very outspoken. You're someone I look up to in the legal profession as well. I would have really loved the healthy opposition. For democracy to thrive, we need that healthy opposition. You were constantly critiquing policies, issues, and I would follow your tweets and listen. So how would you say this would happen now that you're now a total supporter of this administration just suddenly like that?
Yeah, because Nigeria consists of over 200 million Nigerians, each of which has the right to critique the government.
Yeah.
I do not claim absolute knowledge. I did my part, and I appreciate the fact that you recognize it, and I'm honored by that, and I want to say thank you for it. But I am not building a life to be a social critic. I want to be an influencer of policy.
No, I didn't mean that to you as an individual only. So, I meant as the PDP, as the opposition parties, spokesperson for articles. You will be like a shadow cabinet. You understand what I mean? Because you were in that party, but suddenly now you're open to an appointment. You're also open to joining the ruling party. You're just open to everything and supporting everything about the party just like that. You didn't think that role was important as well when you played it?
Yeah. Yes, the thing is, there is a misconceived notion, and sometimes even when I'm introduced in media space, they always use that designation. I was a spokesman of the campaign. After the election, they dissolved the campaign. I ceased to be a spokesman. The reason why you continue to see my engagement is because of my commitment and patriotism to the country. We need to engage. I didn't have any reason to do that or any obligation to do that. I am not an official of People's Democratic Party, not a member of National Key Committee, not a member of the Board of Trustees, never ran for any office. I am just an ordinary member like every other member who also has the right and obligation to play that role. And so the entire burden of the party cannot be placed on me because I made a choice to support President Tinubu. There is this thing in basketball. They say when a player is injured and he won't participate, the next man up. The next man up. So it is time for them to have the next man up after all. We were told that we made spokesperson during the campaign, so they still have faith, assuming that the spokesperson wants to continue even though the campaign has been dissolved. I quite appreciate your point about having a viral opposition and a strengthened democracy. I have been an advocate for that. But the fact that I'm an advocate for that does not mean that there is an obligation of me to be that. You see, that's why I told you facts change opinion. We moved part-time. There was a time I was in primary school. Then later I found myself in secondary school. Then I enjoyed university. I thought I could stay in university forever, because of the ecstasy and the joy. Yeah. And then I had to move on to the law school. And we keep evolving in life. So the evolution of one's person cannot be used as a burden, responsibility, or unfair advantage on the other.
Okay. The former minister, Fashola, was here a couple of days ago. And he said that, he reminded us that politics is a game. or we just don't know the rules? Who lays out the rules? And some of the rules of this politics is loyalty, where it's like a football match where you have generations who are supporting a particular team and they stick to it no matter what. You see people like Fayoshe who says, no matter what, I can support Tinubu, but me, I am a PDP person to the core. You know, so now, as for someone like you, where do you think, because many people within the APC are probably even thinking you're a mole coming into the party to come and see how they're doing things and try to just make the party implode from within by coming out from outside. I know you're in before, but the issue of loyalty, how do you limbo between those two parties? Because nobody's going to trust you, either from the PDP side or the APC side. Nobody, you're just going to be in the middle. How do you plan to reside in either of the parties going forward?
So I like the point you made about Fayemi, or is it Fayemi where you said that he supports somebody but he remains a member of the political party, Fayoshe, right? Good. Yes. So, but the same Fayoshe who you probably eulogize for that strong position, a greater number of PDP also feel he's a mole by supporting President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. You see, one thing about life is that opinion is the property of people, and people consume information and form opinion. Some people are so elastic in their minds that if facts changes, they can also change their opinion. Some people have been biased by sentiment. It can be religious, it can be regional, it can be tribal, it can be anything, and then they hold on. Then there are some people that have created in their mind a picture of who you should be to them. And sometimes that slave-like thinking that when you are not doing what they expect you to do, therefore you are against them, you can't help it because it's not within your power to change people's opinion. Now, with respect to the idea of money, it's not intriguing back, but this is something that I've never been known by. When I left President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because when I have been an APC member for 8 years, so when I left President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I didn't say I was leaving the APC on ideological reason of the party, blah, blah, blah. He made the same ticket decision, and at the time, I was speaking for him. I decided to not identify with that election. Now, when I went there, because I made the point clear that I would never insult President Tinubu in my campaign, from my first interview, I was attacked by still members of the press. Because in our Nigerian context, still the members of the press think that when you move from one party to another, your principal job is to, not criticize, but to insult personality. That's why throughout the campaign, you will never find one word from Daniel Bwala against the person of Tinubu. But in terms of policy, discrediting policies, I have done that because that's the rule of the game during the electionary process. You market your product and tell the Nigerian people why you think your product is more than the other. So the people in PDP at the time thought I was a mole because I could not insult President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. To a point where I had to approach my principal to tell him why I made the decision not to insult. Now, but throughout the campaign ended. Who performed? I don't want to, like the chameleon, the lizard that praise him. So I don't want to praise myself, but Nigerian people can judge whether I gave it my best. Now, I decided to come back to Tinubu, who I was with before. Then the people from PDP will now say he's wicked, he's like that. Then in APC, I can understand two things, and I want to tell you that today. Number one, there are people who feel that they have worked in the party and they should be carried along, and they feel they have not yet been carried along. So they already have an agreement. And then with the discovery of Bwala, they now transfer their aggression to me. There are some people who actually have an agenda to ridicule, to malign your name in the hope that they can spoil your name. It's part of life. You have to accept it too.
All right.
Man is a free moral agent, and there is freedom of thought and expression. It is when you get bored by what people are saying that you lose focus aside of what you're doing.
All right, go ahead, man.
Okay. Mr. Bwala, I am also, my loyalty is to my country and to my nation. So I always understand perspective that come, from that. And, having spoken about your affiliations, now let's talk about our country. You said you met with the president and you discussed some of the policies that even you at first did not feel, you are not comfortable with. And the first thing, mentioned is the fuel subsidy. What changed your mind? Could you give us one or two things he may have said that changed your mind?
Yeah. So when I began criticizing the decision of the president to remove fuel subsidy, I made the point clear that all the candidates that ran during the election made the point that we were going to eventually remove fuel subsidy, but that Atiku planned on doing it in phases. but that I criticized Tinubu for removing it immediately without providing the cushioning effect. And I maintained that criticism for long. When I sat across the table with the president, in fact, that was the first thing he addressed. He said, when I won this election, there was nothing on ground to govern, no money anywhere. And because there's no money, you have to keep the ground running. You cannot go and borrow everything in life, because Nigerians are already complaining about borrowing. So you have to be faced by first of all, two choices that you have to make. Number one, to remove the subsidy, which will then be tough on Nigerians. You have to recognize that. But then there is a hope that you can generate revenue out of it, or to not remove the fuel subsidy. And in the next few months, the street will be flooded with people because the reality will dawn on Nigerians that we actually do not have kobo to run the government with. Then he said, as a leader, you will be faced up with decisions. And at that point, what will determine whether you're a leader or not is the courage to do that. That convinced me, or that now clarified that initial thought that I had, that you didn't have any reason to remove it without first providing the palliative. And then to confirm that the president meant well. We all know how he's making the effort to provide palliative. We differ in the modalities and the modus operandi, but I have seen progressively how the president made changes. Initially, he gave out money to the governors to do palliative. People complained that some governors were pocketing the money. This last Christmas season, what did he do? He provided the palliative to various senators, House of Rep members, so they can share to the people. So opportunity to corner the money is not there. And then the straw that broke the camel's back was his decision with respect to humanitarian, which is actually the bank.
That's UK networks, it's not Nigeria. Okay, we're going to go on, because it's calling us from UK. So let us go on a short break once they sort out their UK matters. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
How do you know
it's UK network, it's not Nigeria.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We still have with us Mr. Bwala. Waiki had a question.
Yeah, on that same show, that same interview, you had alluded to the fact that the governor of Rivers State had made a mistake with the deal that he signed with the president. Do you still maintain that, or your opinion has changed again?
No, I can't remember saying anything about Lagos and the government.
Not Lagos.
Rivers.
So, sorry?
Rivers State, not Lagos. Rivers State.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. I have never said anything about Lagos State and the federal government.
Rivers State.
Which is the
Fubara State.
Fubara State.
Fubara, similar to Fubara.
Okay, Rivers.
Yes.
Yes.
Rivers.
Yes. What I maintain, as a constitutionally speaking, what I analyze, I still stand by that position constitutionally. But you know, the interpretation of law is subjective. It is only when the court delivers the judgment it becomes binding on people. Meaning that I can give an opinion and give an opinion. It doesn't make mine right or wrong. It doesn't make yours right or wrong. But if both of us bring this opinion towards adjudication, when the court gives the judgment, then it becomes binding on all. And the good thing is, you see, when I met the president, and that is why I will forever respect this man, because Mr. President started by addressing my criticism of his administration rather than getting angry. So some people have soft heart, they will get angry. But he was explaining reason behind, and he said he quite appreciates my engagement in politics. That kind of leadership I want to submit to. That kind of leadership I want to promote. And let me tell you the truth, the distinctive difference. When I left President Tinubu and I moved to PDP, he made every effort to contact me, and I was avoiding him. That's why when I met him, I apologized deeply. I said, you don't even need to apologize. People make decisions per time based on the information that they have. Imagine somebody you left, you were involved in a very, intense campaign, and after they finish, he still has an open heart to see you, talk to you, and then all through our conversation, Mr. President never mentioned party. Mr. President
Bola
didn't even mention the name Atiku. He was talking about Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. To me, that is impressive. And I want to say it for the optimum time. The president is not perfect. The president will make mistakes in the course of administering the country. And as citizens and supporters of the administration, there will be time when we will criticize certain policies if we feel the policies are right or wrong. Our motives cannot be misjudged. Our criticism cannot be misjudged. But what we are committed to doing, and I started by giving the analogy of the airplane, is that where it lies within our power, we must push this envelope towards a better Nigeria.
All right.
If you look
Mr.
at
Bola,
insecurity, like for example, yes.
Let me throw in this question very quickly to you, because I know that from this morning, let me ask you, have you been offered a job by this administration?
It's personal. I keep it to myself.
You keep it to yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I plead the fifth.
You plead the Fifth Amendment.
Yeah, but there is that Fifth Amendment
in Nigeria. No, it's a Hollywood movie.
Okay, in Nigeria, I plead Section 36.
Okay.
Voila,
Go ahead.
So a lot of insecurity is now popular in the north, especially in Abuja. And you are also from Borno, right? Yes. Where Borno is partially safe now from what we hear on the news. But the Abuja banditry and kidnapping happening in the city centers where they go into estates now and kidnap families and family members is what is popular right now in the FCT. What would you say about that?
The situation is crazy. Before I left Nigeria for UK yesterday, I was brooding on that. If I threw out the journey, that was what I was reflecting on. Then I came up yesterday, I tweeted that at this critical time with these multifaceted problems are now increasing, it is now, the crisis economy is trying to entrench itself into our social fabric. There is this thing called crisis economy, where people build the economy around creating crisis. They kill to get money and they collect money to stop killing. And that's what is happening. I made a recommendation yesterday. It's about time, in my view, that Mr. President will look at how to establish what I call the National Security Advisory Council or Board, which will consist of retired or serving heads of the security and intelligence platforms like DSS, NIA, police, Defense Intelligence College, and the rest, who will give him out-of-the-box thinking, who will do out-of-the-box thinking. Because doing one thing over and over and expecting a different result is a definition of insanity. Now, this happened in America, actually. There was a time the President of the United States appointed a national security advisor. After a little while, now the pressure and the problems surrounding the country created the impression as if the national security advisor was overwhelmed. So the president of that country, rather than sacking him because he didn't think like he should sack him or replace him, he created the National Security Advisory Board, where he had outside of the box thinking. And that is why he was able to find a solution. You see, coordination of national security is key. If there is no cooperation in the coordinating mechanism, there will be a problem. Two, modus operandi. You cannot sometimes continue to use kinetic. There is no kinetic approach to solving problems. Look at America. For example, when we started fighting terrorism, we thought that everything, get gun, shoot people, until the United States Department of Peace, when we were invited for a program. I went in my capacity as a private sector person, and they were talking about cutting off terrorism financing. They talk about changing the ideological reasoning of the people, and they talk about dealing with poverty. These three things are not kinetic. When you deal with that, you will be able to cut off these people from their financials, cut off these people from the ideology that they say they are going to die for, and cut these people off from what pushes man. Because man by nature, according to philosophy of man, is brutish and brutal. When he's pushed to the wall, he will do anything possible to survive. That is what is happening in Nigeria. They have seen that stealing, kidnapping is not only one way by which they can survive, but in fact, they can build an economy around it. So there is need for out-of-the-box thinking, and I'm calling on Mr. President to broaden and spread this engagement. You see, Abraham Lincoln, I talk about Abraham Lincoln in that book. What he did was that he galvanized limitless thoughts around the country, because the problems are multifaceted. They are hydra-headed. And so you cannot confine advisory to only one person or one office. And recently, and this is my capacity as a private citizen, certain moves that the National Security Advisor is taking, to me, is unhealthy. Bringing the bill that will give you power to employ people to do this, to set up this, to carry out operation. The office of the National Security Advisor has never been built to be an office that will operate like the other security platform. Your role is National Security Advisory. And so it is key that the president at this time, in order to have a holistic approach, to create this National Security Advisory Board that will consist of either serving or former aides of this platform. Let them bring their thoughts to the table, and let us see how we can find a lasting solution to the problem.
Okay, finally, hypothetically speaking, just in case you're offered a job in this administration, will you take it?
You said, in case I'm offered a job, will I take it?
Yeah.
Have you ever seen anybody crossing the bridge before he gets to the bridge?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Can somebody cross a bridge before he gets to the bridge?
It's a simple yes or no question, sir.
No, this is not cross-examination.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let me rephrase. If in case you're offered a job in this administration, would your current principal appreciate it or accept it or encourage you to take it?
Again, the second question now is even harder than the first, because you are asking me questions on establishing the thoughts that are not within my capacity. But let me put it this way. There is this thing in criminology or in intelligence, they say follow the money if you are trying to trace routes. In the bit, we are supporting the policy, and so you keep following the support of the policy. If in the course of pursuing the course of the policy, the president feels you can play a role in this area and this area, for God's sake, why would you say no? But you don't say, this is what I want or this is what I want to do, because the population is over 200 million and the position is for few people. The discretion is with the president. Your motivation should be national interest of the country and not your personal interest. That's why I don't think about it and I don't talk about it. Sometimes I even get a little bit uncomfortable when that question is put to me, because the naysayers want to build this narrative that, okay, it's because the president offered it, that's why he's supporting. And I made the point clear, he never offered to give me any appointment. He recognized the role we are playing as private citizens and asked more of our contribution towards our country.
Okay. Thank you very much. We have to wrap up.
If I have case, I will come to you. Your mouth sweet, well.
All right. That's all we can take on today's show. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel. Thank you very much, Mr. Daniel Bola, for joining us this morning. That's all we can take on today's show. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.